Our next speaker is Huia Adkins, Business Group Leader, Sustainability and Technical Director, Circular Economy at GHD. Huia utilises her expertise and understanding of the principles, tools and strategies of a circular economy to help deliver workable solutions that support global sustainability goals. She has worked across private, public and tertiary education sectors and has delivered projects spanning a wide range of disciplines, including planning, policy and strategy development, environmental impact assessment, sustainable construction, and waste management and resource recovery. Please welcome Huia Adkins for her presentation, Circular Economy Thinking for SMEs.
Thanks, Josh, and thanks, everyone. I know we're a little over time, so I'll keep it punchy. But look, I did just want to also acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people who, in my humble opinion, are the first practitioners of circularity. They did it so well, living not only living but thriving within planetary boundaries, and waste simply was not a concept for them. So something we can all learn from. So, what is this circular economy thing? It's pretty big, but it can also be really simple. Yes, it's a paradigm shift, but look, we're already doing it in some ways within this room already in terms of the conversations that I've heard. So how can my business succeed in a resource-constrained world? Because whether we want to think about sustainability being at the forefront of our businesses, we actually are now in a climate where we are needing to respond to it. Okay, so circular thinking can help. So SMEs, I'm preaching to the converted here, make up 98% of businesses and contribute a huge amount to our economy. And SMEs are really challenged in what they have to deliver on. You know, you have to balance your profit and your purpose. There are also these changing requirements of stakeholders. Government regulations are changing, the global finance sector is changing, and that is impacting on the larger businesses that we are supplying to. There are changing expectations of our customers now, and we're seeing really, really strong language and action coming in around greenwashing. So we need to be able to adapt. We need to be agile, even within our small to medium businesses. One of the critical things that we need to think about is, how the hell do I keep myself relevant and resilient? How do I keep my doors open? So that's a lot to think about as a small business, right? And COVID has been a bit of a pain, but also a bit of a blessing. In my opinion, COVID has demonstrated what can happen when global supply chains falter. And this is actually fundamentally a pain, but a really, really good thing. We've been exposed to what can happen as a global economy when things stop working. The cogs slow down or stop. We've seen what happens when we rely on the East Coast. We've seen what happens when we rely on overseas. So there is a business imperative here to actually look at how we create more local resilient supply chains. And this is speaking to a circular economy. We're also looking at, resource scarcity, prices are going up, supply challenges, workforce fluctuations, as well as having to rethink our supply chains. And during COVID, social distancing made things a lot more difficult and put a lot of pressure on bricks and mortar. People were not coming to our businesses. We were still having to pay, for our leases, etc. So a lot of instability that has shown us where our pain points are. So what is it? I get asked this a lot. What is it really? Oh, we've heard all of, the big picture things, but what is it really? Well, it is a big picture thing. We have a linear economy that is fundamentally flawed. We have a linear economy that is based on take something out of the ground, make it into a product, use it for a very short period of time, and then throw it over your shoulder into a hole. What we recognise now is, when you throw something away, there is no away. Where is this magical land of away where there's no impact? We actually know now that there is no way. And there have been many, many studies where, Welsh councils have, journalists have found, rubbish from Wales or rubbish from another part of the world turning up in Indonesia or somewhere else. So we know that we are intimately connected and there is no way. So we cannot continue to operate like this in a world that we all rely on. So a linear economy is really a cycle where the goal is to keep the value of the products and materials in that system. If you think about it, if you pay for something, you value it. So why do we then throw it away? Kind of illogical, right? Doesn't seem to make sense. Yet that is fundamentally what our current economy is based on, because it's based on a single point of value. If I can make enough of this widget and sell enough of this widget, then I'm making a profit. So that's how our linear economy is stacked. But we're now operating outside of planetary boundaries with resources becoming less and less available. So we're exposing ourselves as businesses to inherent risk. If you are relying on a non-renewable resource to do business, you're going to have problems. So what we need to do is keep pulling that value back into cycles within our business, within our ecosystem, within our region, within our economy. So fundamentally, the principles are to design waste out. And part of what Duncan was talking about was really clearly pointing that out. He's using, digitisation to get visibility on waste in the process so that you can pull that out, because that waste is costing your business. If you're overproducing or you are creating defects in a process without understanding why, you are inherently wasteful. I would add a couple more points to Duncan as well. To Duncan's process as well. When we're underutilising our staff or our space, we're also creating waste in businesses, right? So you can think about waste in every context possible: energy, water, materials, staff, space, transport, you name it. Where there is waste, you need to do something about that, because that is value lost to your business. So currently what we're looking at here is a linear economy far left. We're kind of moving into a reuse economy. We do a little bit of recycling, not very well, but we're trying. We just can't get the colour of the bin lids right. I'm sure that's the problem. So we're pushing recycling back into production, but we are essentially still relying on those raw materials that are depleting. So what we need to do is shift our business models to actually pull the design of that model into keeping those materials in use and reducing the amount of raw materials that we need to rely on. So what can I offer you? Well, it can offer you a reduction in costs. If you are identifying areas of waste in your business and putting a cork in that bottle, you will be saving money. If you are purchasing less, if you are using less, and if you are wasting less, that comes off your CapEx. Stabilising your material supply. We're shifting from a mentality of, I want the Chinese widget that cost me 2 cents, to I want the widget that actually gets delivered. So if I have to pay 6 cents more from that might actually be worth it for my business. So that's the global supply chain instability. We're now not looking for the cheapest. We're looking for the widget that turns up on the doorstep. That's really, really critical. Otherwise, your business doesn't run. Use less, use longer, keep it in use. Revenue opportunities. Maximising the use of underutilised assets. Do you need to own everything, or could you lease it? Our own personal vehicles are a fantastic example of this. Cars sit at home in our driveways or in parking lots over 80% of their life. Staggering, because we spend so much money on them. We have an absolute love affair with cars. We have at least 2. And yet they are such an underutilised resource. What a ridiculous waste of money. However, this is the love affair that we have, right? But fundamentally, it's an underutilised asset. So of the things that you own, do you need to own them? And if you own them, how well are you utilising them? Could you share that resource or lease that resource? Do you need a hammer or do you need the hole in the wall? You need to ask yourself that question. And optimising customer relationships. What we're seeing now is customers in the marketplace are searching for better, more sustainable options. They want to be able to trust their relationship with you, and they are now prepared to pay more for that. That's what we're seeing emerge in the marketplace. So some businesses tend to think of sustainability as just a premium product option. But everyone, no matter what option you are looking for, will eventually be asked the question, how are you responding to sustainability? We want to understand that. So what's your answer? Do you have an answer? It would be good to get one and to understand how that is of benefit to your business and to the relationship that you have with your customer. Very busy slide. Slide 101, don't write a slide like this. However, I've kept this slide because I'm hoping you will get my slide pack and you'll be able to see all of the examples that I've highlighted there in bold for you. So how the hell do you start? Okay, let's look at your current supply chain. Where is the waste in your current supply chain? Duncan's got a great place to start. Maybe you need visibility. Maybe I don't know where the waste is in my supply chain. So how are you going to find out that? You need some visibility on that. What's your baseline? Where are you starting from? You need to understand that detail. You need to fundamentally think about designing out waste, not because there's a regulation, that says I need to, or there's a state waste policy, but actually think about it from your business perspective. I paid for that. Now it's going in the bin. That's not good for my business. So let's design the waste out from the beginning. Designing leaner products, a lot of what Duncan alluded to as well. How do you create the same product using less? Reduce unsold or wasted products. Really, really good idea because you have invested all of the raw materials in creating that product to begin with. Once again, you're paying for it and then you're wasting it. So some really great examples here. Young George restaurant in East Fremantle. Melissa has a zero waste kitchen and including a zero plastic kitchen. The only plastic that she can't get rid of out of her kitchen, she tells me, although she's working on it, is the plastic sous vide bag, which, is the bag that has to go into whatever temperature it is to create the incredible meal that she puts in front of you. But she's working really hard to work out how to do that. Hippie Kombucha are actually here, so I won't tell you anything about them because they can sing their own story. Gin and Dry are a company who basically have collaborated with regional fruit producers over in Queensland. They collect 4,000 kilos annually of what would be a waste product, and they turn it into dried fruit products that they sell at a premium into the market. So they have solved a problem for another producer, and they have created a business for themselves out of waste. GoTerra, Appeal, Food Bank all do good things. I will let you go into those. So sourcing value between partners. One of the things that you will critically understand as a small business is you can't do it alone. You are busy and you are pushed to the limit. And you cannot solve all of the issues along your supply chain because it's not just you. There's many people involved in your supply chain or in your value chain. So you need to source value between partners. And the Gin and Dry story is a good example of that. 2 problems were solved there, and someone has saved money by not having to deal with that particular waste product. Someone has made money by coming up with a new business. So some other things to look at. What can you get rid of or replace with something that is longer lasting? If it lasts longer, you won't have to buy a new one so often. Or do you need it at all? If you don't, get rid of it. What can you use for longer and how? Repair and remanufacture is coming up now. Repair cafes are cropping up everywhere now. So, how can you get involved there? Who is throwing out what that you need? What we're seeing is circular marketplaces starting to develop in different parts of the country now. Aspire is one. It's a national program. The National Planet Arc Circular Economy Hub are tasked with setting up another national hub. What about your region? Who do you know, who's doing what in your region? You might have a conversation with someone that has a waste problem and you could actually use that. So it's about collaborating. There are growth in a whole range of alternative products and growth in refurbished and second use markets. So do you need to be buying new? And value addition through new sources of revenue. So product as a service, I spoke about that. The car next door service is about your personal car being leased out to other people because it's sitting underutilised in your driveway. So we've heard this word many times and I've been thrilled about it. Usually when I'm speaking or when I'm running a workshop, I play collaboration bingo. And the idea is how many times does Huia say collaborate in a space of time? So collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. This is fundamental. You will not solve your problems on your own. You need to talk to others around you, see what their experience is and see how you can help each other. The best solutions are where each side of that solution, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, all get a valuable outcome. Okay, it shouldn't just be you benefiting, it can be many people. Look deep into your supply chain and find opportunities. For example, Food Bank Oz Harvest Fair Share, we've probably heard these names before. Look at their collaboration list. That was just the first page of the extensive scroll that I was looking through. A collaboration partner here for you is Circular Economy Western Australia. I'm one of the founding members of CEWA and our mission is to help people understand who is where in the ecosystem and push Western Australia or support the push for Western Australia to move to a circular economy. So final thoughts. The circular economy is not recycling on steroids. The circular economy is really about designing out waste at the front end. 80% of our impact is locked away in design, so we need to catch it. The CE is not a set process. It's answering a different set of questions. So much is possible in this space. There's not one way to go. Solutions require everyone in the value chain to think differently. Start slow with the low-hanging fruit. And finally, don't go it alone. Collaboration is key. Thanks very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.